carrying with him a false image. Okay. Willie is not invisible father or a loyal husband or a fantastically successful salesman like he wants everyone to believe. So Willie wanted that he should look good in the society, because every person in this planet wanted to achieve something in their life, wanted to show others that yeah, I have something, I am doing something in my life, I have some reputation. So Billy is also wanted to be a loyal husband, fantastically successful salesman, but uh, that didn't happen. He's self-centered. He's just only thinking about himself. That's why he got to he. That's why he started extramarital affair. Then where were we? Yeah, he fails to appreciate his wife. When his wife in the play, you will find out that his wife is very dedicated, and she was doing everything a woman should do to appreciate her husband. So he but the efforts Willie's wife Linda was putting, Willie never appreciated that. Okay. And he cannot acknowledge the fact that he is only marginally successful. And Willie wasn't ready to accept that he was not that much good salesman, because uh, in the chapter the when you start reading, the act one started with that Willie used to come from outside, and his wife Linda. Willie is a 73 or 63 years old person in the play, and he has two sons, as I told you, Biff and Happy. So Willie came from his work, and Linda told to Willie that you should talk to your supervisor or the super managers, that at this age they should not send you uh, far away from your places, and they should give you a job which is like a desk table job. So he was going to retire very soon because his age is 63 something. Okay. So hence Willie fantasizes about lost opportunities from wealth, fame, and notoriety. Even so, it would be incorrect to state that Miller solely criticizes Willie. Miller was a neighbor of Willie and a very true friend of Willie. When Willie lost his job, and I mean, or retired from his job, he couldn't able to manage the uh, he couldn't able to manage his house, so he went to Miller to ask money from him, and Miller gave him a, what should I say? Miller gave him an approach or a opportunity to come and join my company. But Willie was very, what should I say? He wasn't down to earth person. He was very um, arrogant kind of person. For him, working in his friend's company is a ashamed work. Okay. So he denied, and he decided he's not going to work with his friend Miller's with Miller. So, but he doesn't feel ashamed taking money from Miller's, but yeah, he feel ashamed doing job in Miller's company. Okay. Willie instead Miller demonstrate how one individual can create a self-perpetuating cycle that expand to include other individuals. This is certainly the case within the Lohman family. Until the end of the play, Willie effectively blocks the affair out of his money and commits himself to a life of denial. And at last, as I told you, he committed suicide. Purposely, he killed himself so that his insurance money will be helpful to his family. Okay. He cannot remember what happened. So naturally, he does not understand why his relationship with Viv has changed. Willie wants Viv affection and adoration as before, but instead the two constantly argues. Willie felicitates, sometimes criticizing Biff's laziness and inaptitude, other times praising his physical abilities and ambition. Linda and Happy are also drawn into the cycle of denial. Linda is aware of Willie's habit of reconstructing reality. However, she also recognizes that Willie may not be able to accept reality, as shown through his numerous suicide attempts prior to the beginning of the play. So even in the play, you will find that before dying, Willie committed suicide 2 times also, but he failed. Okay. As a result, Linda chooses to protect Willie's illusion by treating them as a truth. So even if she must ignore reality or alienate her children in doing so, Happy is also a product of Willie's philosophy. Like Willie, he manipulates the truth to create a more favorable reality for himself. For example, when Happy tells everyone that he is the assistant buyer, even though he is not the assistant to the assistant, he proves that he has incorporated Willie practice of editing facts. So in the play, you will find out that the Happy started working somewhere, and he was doing a very low job, but in front of his family, he phrased himself, he put himself like, I am a assistant person in the company, assistant buyer, something like that. Okay. Miller based Billy character on his uncle Manny Newman and Lee Balsam, who were salesmen. Miller saw his uncle as independent explorers charting new territories across America. It is noteworthy that Miller does not disclose what type of salesman Willie is, rather than drawing the audience attention to what Willie sells. Miller chooses to focus on the fact that Willie is a salesman. As a result, Miller explains the import of Willie's situation. Willie is an explorer, conqueror of the New England territory, and a dreamer. And it allows the audience to connect with him because everyone has aspirations, dreams, and goals. Willie's despair results from his failure to achieve his American dream of success. So, in the play, they all wanted to build a company in America, but that couldn't happen. That can only happen after Willie's death. So, that's why he committed suicide. At one point, sorry, at one point, give me a second. At one point, Willie was a moderately successful salesman opening new territory in England, and Biff and Happy viewed him as a model father. As I told you, they treated their father as an ideal person. Once Biff discovered the affair, however, he loses respect for Willie as well as his own motivation to succeed because he wants to walk on his father's footprint. Now, after finding that his father is having an affair with someone else, he shattered. He doesn't know what to do. Then, so he attempt to draw. Okay, as Willie grows older, making sales is more difficult for him because his health, his physical bodies couldn't able to. I mean, obviously, an old person cannot match the youth person, right? So he attempt to draw on past success by revealing old memories. Willie loses the ability to distinguish between reality from fantasy, and this behavior alienates him from other, thereby diminishing his ability to survive in the present. As the play progresses, Willie's life became more disordered, and he is forced to withdraw almost completely to the past where order exists because he can reconstruct events or relive old memories. The play continues to affect audience because it allowed them to hold a mirror up to themselves. Willie's self depreciation deprecation, sorry, a sense of failure and overwhelming regret are emotions that an audience can relate to, because everyone has experienced them at one time or another. So yeah, we all go through with these kinds of emotions, self deprecation, where we find ourselves that we are not worthy of anything, sense of failure when we find ourselves not I mean failing in something which we really wanted to do. Okay. And overwhelming regret that sometimes we obviously find ourselves that yeah, we did so much mistakes in our life, or at least a biggest mistake in our life. So that is written here, that everyone has experienced them one time or another. Although most do not commit suicide, yeah, we should not commit suicide in the face of adversity. People connect with Willis because he's a man driven to extreme action. An audience may regret with sympathy toward Willie because he believes he is left with no other alternative but to commit suicide. By reading the novel, you will find out that the way Arthur Miller shows Willie character in the novel, you will find out that he was portrayed in the novel like he doesn't have any other option. But committing suicide is never be an option to anyone. Everyone should have, everyone should always have has the another option. That means we should not commit suicide. Okay. But in the play, you will find out that Willie doesn't have any option, and he has to commit suicide. So that's why he committed. On the other hand, an audience may react with disgust and anger toward Willie, believing he has deserted his family and taken the easy way out. Yeah, some people will think that obviously, if he wanted to do something for his family, why the hell he committed suicide? He can do something else too. Either way, individual continue to react the death of salesman because Willie's situation is not unique. He made a mistake. Everyone does. One that irrevocably changed his relationship with the people he loves the most. And when all his attempts to eradicate his mistakes fail, he makes one grand attempt to correct the mistake. What? He committed suicide. Willie vehemently denies Biff's claim that they are both common, ordinary people, but ironically, it is the universality of the play that makes it so enduring. Biff's statement, I am in a dim of a dozen, and so are you. It's true, all. Okay. Now, I'm not going to, uh, I'll tell you one more thing. Okay, let me copy this first. Okay. What is happening? What is happening? What's taking so much time? I have to start another chapter as well. Let me copy this. Internet is very slow here. Uh, let's wait. We'll discuss this properly. What is happening? Not a single slide share is okay. Okay, let it be. I'll be back on that cliff notes. I want to I want to tell you about the character's background. Huh. Okay. The protagonist of the play is Billy Loman, an aging salesman. Aging means old one. He suffers from depression and anxiety as a result for his dissipating career because he could not able to achieve what he really want to. That's why he strangles relationship with his oldest son Biff and his guilt over an extramarital affair. As the play progresses, Willie loses the ability to distinguish between the present and his memories of the past. Willie is Loman's wife, Linda Loman. Willie is Loman's wife. She is Willie's companion and takes it upon herself to reconcile her family. She will protect Willie at any cost, even if she must be perpetuate his fantasies and deny his suicidal behavior. Biff Loman, the Loman's older son, Biff has been strangled from Willie for over 15 years, during which time he has not been able to hold a steady job. Biff is the only member of the family who knows about Willie's affair, and he resents his father bitterly. Happy Loman, the Loman's younger son. Happy is a womanizer, a flirty guy, driven by his sexuality because he looks good. That's why he works as an assistant but exaggerate his position as his authority. Uncle Ben, Willie's older brother. Yeah, you will find that in the play, Uncle Ben was a dead person, and he only his discussion his when Willie went to past and he went to go to a flashback. He used to talk about Uncle Ben, who is no more in the play. Okay, Willie's older brother, he made a fortune in the African jungle by the time he was 21 years old. He once offered Willie a job in Alaska. Ben appears in the play only if Willie's memories and fantasies. Whenever Willie wants talk about his old memories, you will find Uncle Ben in that. Okay, Charlie. Yeah, Charlie was his neighborhood friend, a long-term acquaintance of the Lomans. Charlie supplies Willie with a weekly loan. Yeah, I told you now, Willie used to go to Charlie and take the money from him. Willie is put on straight commission and he repeatedly offers him a job. And in the play, you will find out that Charlie always offer Willie to come and do job in his company. Charlie is a true friend to Willie, even though Willie is jealous of him. Charlie appears in Willie's memory as well as in the actions of the present. So, in the Willie's mind, also in the old memories, also you will find Charlie, and in the present moments, also you will find Charlie. Bernard, Charlie's son, he provided Biff with answers while they were in the high school and attempted to help Biff study so that he would graduate, even though Willie and Biff would criticize him. He is a successful lawyer in the present time. Bernard appears in Willie's memory as well as in the present. The woman, Willie's former lover, the one with whom Willie is having an affair, with whom he had an affair many years ago in Boston. Biff discovered the affair when she came out of the bathroom while he was in the room. She appears only in Willie's memory and fantasies. However, as the play progresses, Willie has difficulty distinguish between his memories of the woman and his memories of Linda. So in the play, you will find out that Willie used to think that the woman with whom he is having affair is the same. It's the same person who is his wife, Linda. Okay, he cannot able to distinguish both women's. Howard Wagner, Willie's current boss. Yeah, in the play, Willie went to him and asked money from him, a loan, but he refused to give it. He put Willis on straight commission prior to the play beginning, and later he fires him. How Howard is a businessman unaffected by the fact that Willie worked for his father and named him as a child. Jenny. Charlie's secretary, Stanley, a waiter, Mrs. Frottisty and Lita, young prostitutes. The one I told you now that Happy Loman was a womanizer. So he was. You will find that person with these two women. Now, if you want to see the character map, also you can see here. And the summary I already discussed with you all. Let's start with another play. Okay, wait. Major themes. Why it's not coming? Okay, let it be. So many things are here. Fine. Let's go back. I hope it will start. Okay, yeah. Now we are discussing Girish Kannad, Girish Kannad novel, Hayavadana. Okay. It is this novel based on a myth of a person having a horse head but a men's body, and how he get that we will get to know this by reading this. Okay, so Girish Kannad's taking a myth and legend in his place was more an act of impulse rather than intention. So Girish Kannad used to take myth stuff in his writing because he want to impulse, he wants to uh, he wants his audience to get attracted towards his writing. Okay, perhaps it was inevitable for Kannad, who was exposed to traditional forms of theater in childhood. The three kinds of theater between which he moved, Swilide and road plays, were the company Natak, Yakshagana, and the Western theater, and he must have been influenced by them, whatever the reason. Whether it is the influence of traditional theater upon him or it is his capacity to invent new stories as he confesses, he had rightly chosen to use myth and legend for his plays. He feels they are very much relevant today and hence seeks to adapt myth and folk forms in his plays. And thus, he affects a synthesis between the ancient and the modern to serve his purpose of using the past to illuminate the present. Girish Kannad, in his Hayavandana, used the name myth of used the name used the same myth to project the theme of fundamental ambiguity of human life. He makes the play an interesting study of men's quest for a complete and wholesome experience of life. For this, he combines the transport, hence plot of Man and Hayavadana story, which is entirely Kannad's own invention. This is how Kannad's make use of myth. He takes them only in parts and rest he supplements with his imagination. Drama, mimetic representation of life. It is a composite art in which the written word attain artistic realization when spoken by the actor on the stage and reciprocated by the audience. Okay, a play in order to communicate fully must become a living dramatic experience, and so it needs a real theater and a live audience. It was precisely the lack of these essentials that has hamstrung Indian drama in English all along. One silver lining was that in the recent decades, Indian drama in English language has fared some sumptuously and put on flesh. Drama was the fifth Veda of the ancient Hindus and traditional classical drama, which flourished for 10 centuries or more, could now safely challenge comparison with other genre in Indian writing. Drama in India had a rich and glorious tradition. The contemporary dramatist Girish Kannad has said in The Fire and the Rain, it's another work of Girish Kannad. Brahma, another one, the Lord of all creation, extracted the requisite element from the four Vedas. So, according to the point of view of Girish Kannad, Brahma is a creator and he created everything. He exaggerated all four Vedas, Rig Vedas, uh, and Upanishad, everything. From his point of view, Brahma is a creator of those things. He culled out the text from Rig Veda, songs from Samaveda, the art of acting from Yajurveda, and the Rasa Veda. Rasa, aesthetic expression from the Atharva Veda, and combined them into the fifth Veda, Natya Veda. So there were only four Vedas in the history of Hindus. First is Rig, second is Samaveda, third is Yajur, fourth is Atharva Veda. But he created one more, that is Natya Veda. That means drama, which is presented in front of audience, and thus gave birth to the art of drama. Initially, the Indian playwright attempted to write plays which catered to the taste of escapist theatre and occupied themselves with all sorts of romanticism and comic attitude to life. An in-depth study of the playwright who contributed to Indian dramatic scenario, namely Sir Aurobindo, another Indian writer, and Rabindranath Tagore, another one, the famous, revealed the fact that they had influenced Kannad. Okay, Girish Kannad was influenced by these both writers. Okay, keep that in your mind. Kannad, like his preceders, makes use of myth, legends, folk tales, and histories not only for literary purpose, but also as a surrogate to portray the contemporary situations. As literature reflects the society, playwrights like T.P. Kailasam and Harindranath, okay, Chattopadhyay has made use of sociological aspect which motivated Kannad to portray the society in his plays. Analyzing the contributions made by the dramatist to the pre-independence and the post-independence phase, we find that except for Asif Karimbo and Girish Kannad, none of the plays of the other dramatists cater to the demand of the stage. In this respect, Kannad is a dramatist with the difference as his plays are exclusively written for the stage. In the Indian theatre tradition, there has been a strong impact of mythology and history, though it has not produced anything for permanent worth. Kannad was aware that his tradition has a tremendous potential, much potential, as the element of myth and the history are very common to Indian audiences. So Kannad make uses of such myth and legends as metaphors for contemporary situations, and this has induced the present researchers to make a study of his plays. Any traditional tale is likely to present a combination of reality and the fantasy. Drama, one among the literary genre, pleases all men with an infinite variety of taste. Obviously, we all love drama. At that time, drama was played on the stages. Now we are watching on TVs, mobile phones, iPads. We love stories. We love watching stories. We all are surrounded by stories. There is one my story with someone is one story. There are plenty of people have plenty of stories. So yeah, we all love stories. So one of the reasons for the invention of tales and myth is that they act as a vehicle for revealing boredom. Whenever we go and talk to person, what we are expecting, why we are talking to that person, because we wanted to know the story. If we are like abusing someone, or if we are like saying bad to other thing or appreciating that person, let it be. So why we are doing that? Because it has some story, whatever, it's good, bad, everything has a story. We all are surrounded by story. We all are surrounded by literature. Okay, that's why literature is called the reflection of the society. They are sought by people all over the world and all the time. Not only in modern Western culture, this is often masked as sometimes that seems more worthy. Myth is imaginative and it is defined as that which has no real existence in French language. Kirk considered myth as a sacred or religious story. So Kirk used to think that it's a religious story, kind of stories. Myth always have religious story according to his point of view. Northrop Fire asserts myth is primarily a certain type of story. Okay, the things that happen in myth are the anonymous stories rooted in primitive beliefs. So, according to him, myth is not that much important. It has some rooted story which have some belief on them. Okay, and people are still believing on the, things based on those stories. Okay, myth are the tales that have been passed from one generation to another, and even we are from different cultures. We do have some stories, like if we go to the myth, like Ramayana, Mahabharata, we all have the stories, we all read these stories. Okay, they deal with love, war, trinity, courage, faith, with the relation of man to those divine powers, which are sometimes felt irrational. Yeah, after reading those so many stories, we sometimes feel irritated, frustrated. But sometimes it is cruel, and sometimes we find it very cruel when we see that the protagonist is falling and he chose something bad, and that's why the fall of his at the climax his fall started. So that time we feel cruel, we just wanted the story should be stopped. Even while today nowadays when we watch something, and we if stories is going from my point of view, if I am watching something and stories is going on from my point of view, I feel that, oh wow, it's impressive, it's and when I got a turnover in the story or the climax or the rising action which I don't feel like should be there, so that time I just found that story is cruel, or be just irrational, or just one. So Girish Kannar has been regarded as the leading dramatist so far as the use of myth and history is concerned. So Girish Kannar is a famous person for using myth and history. Okay, his plays make the audience to ponder over the human life with a new perspective rather than making them emotional. So he wants to give something new to human life. He doesn't want audience to respond emotionally. He want audience to respond even intellectually as well. Okay. In the other words, like Bertolt Burchett, Kannars make the audience to respond intellectually rather than emotionally to the action of the play. With his article skills, he combines myth and reality, past and present, portrayed the complexities of the modern life. The Kannada drama focuses on the complexity of human relationship and contain an indirect critique of modern Indian society. In each of his play, beneath a legendary, mythical, or historical story, we notice subtle and constant juxtaposition of the past and present, which has been a common feature of Kannad's dramatic art. He has used various forms of the folk traditions in his play like Haya Vandana, Naga Mandala. These his plays are based on myth and histories, okay, to reinforce the central problem of human existence. He chooses events, episodes from Indian mythology to question. Yes, yes, sir. 1 second. Okay, I'll get back to this later. Okay, give me 1 minute. Okay, yeah. So where were we? Yeah, 1 second. He has used various forms of the folk tradition in his play, like Hayavandana and the second one, Naga Mandala, to reinforce the central problem of human existence. He chooses events, episodes from Indian mythology to question their values and relevance in the present context, commenting on the use of techniques or the classical and the folk theatre of India. Kannad says what he said: the energy of folk theatre comes from the fact that although it seems to uphold traditional values, it also has the meaning of questioning these values, of making them literally stand on their head. So, Girish Kannad wants people to question their belief. He wants people not only just take those myth stories from generation to generation without even thinking intellectually or without even questioning them. He just want every person from every religion, every caste, every background should question on his existence or the belief he is upholding with himself. Okay. The play Hayavandana aims at the mystification of traditional values and concepts and present multiple viewpoints that promote a dialogue on the basic accepted tenets of life. This is enhanced by the merging of three levels of experience: the divine, human, and animal, and the bringing together of the animate and the inanimate of a common plane. In order to emphasize the central theme of the play, that is the problem of identity and the search of incompleteness, the playwright has introduced the subplot of Hayavandana, and the play is written in the folk drama tradition of the various visible element of folk Chetan in Kannada. Prime importance goes to Yashgana, though Yashgana is broad term used to cover different type of dance dramas performed in the state, a different state of South India. Its origin can be traced to Tamil Nadu. So here they are explaining about a uh, dance form known as Yakshagana. Its origin started from Tamil Nadu, and these kind of dances used to perform in South India. Okay, it was Dr. Uh, Kanath. It was Dr. Kanath who developed Yashgana as an operatic dance drama. Its themes are taken from the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, and the Puranas. Okay. The term literally means songs of the demigods, which is called Yashagana. Bayalata. Bayalata meaning a play performed in open air. Bayal open, air ata. Okay. The play Hayavandana begins with the invocation of Lord Ganesha in the folk dance. When you start reading the Hayavandana, you will find that the play started with Lord Ganesha's prayer. A mask of Ganesha is placed on a chair in the center of the stage while puja is going on. Puja is done. The Bhagavata, the protagonist of the play, sings the benedictory verse in praise of Ganesha with musical accompaniment. In Kannada, this ritual invocation seems rich in connotations most appropriate to the thematic or the structural unity of the play. Ganesha is established as the preceding deity, not just as per convention. He is, in fact, the embodiment of very idea. The play chooses to discuss Ganesh symbolizes the concept of completeness. So in the Hindu culture, every puja, every marriage, everything, every that ghara pravesh, like household ceremony, everything started with Ganesha puja. So in the same manner, Girish Kannad started his play with the Ganesh puja. After the introduction of the subplot, the Bhagavata once again picks up the thread of the main story. He reveals the love triangle before the three characters. So here you will find that there is a one woman and three men, and okay, there is a woman and two men. They both fall in love with a single woman. He reveals the love triangle even before the three characters are presented on the stage. Two friends, there were one mind and one heart. Those two friends, in the starting of the play, you will find that they used to think similar. They has one heart. They saw a girl and forget themselves, but they could not understand the song she sang. We come to know that Devdatta is mesmerized by the bewitching beauty of a girl. So there is one person in the story called Devdatta. He at once fall in love with her. After that's called a one-sided love. So whenever Devdatta saw that woman, and one of his friend also, we will find out his name. I'll tell you his name while reading this. Okay. So they saw the woman and they both fall in love with that woman. He marries Padmini, the daughter of the leading merchant in Brahmaputra. But Kapila also, another person in the story known as Kapila. So Devdatta and Kapila both are best friends, one mind, one heart. But when they saw Padmini, the uh, the female character in the play, they both fall in love with her at the saw him at the one side. Okay, their relation get tangled in the play. You will find that they both are fighting for a woman. The relation get tangled. The friends kills themselves. They both even killed themselves, beheaded themselves. Unexpectedly, very interesting situation is created in the play. Padmini, of course, with the boon of goddess Kali. So goddess Kali appears in the play, transposes the head given Devdatta. So what she did, there was a play. They both the men were fighting for Padmini in the temple, and that time Padmini reaches the temple and she saw that they both killed themselves by beheading themselves. So she also wanted to die, but before she committed suicide, that goddess Kali appears in the play and she stopped Padmini. And after that, she stopped Padmini, and goddess Kali told her that you just join their heads and I'll give them that birth again. Okay, the relation get sorry. But what happened? What Padmini did is she gave Devdatta head to that Kapila, and Kapila's body to Devdatta head. So like they both crossed. She gave head to someone else body and someone else body to someone else head. Okay, Padmini, of course, with the boon of goddess Kali, transposes the heads, giving Devdatta Kapila's body and vice versa. So she gave Devdatta Kapila's body and Kapila's body to Devdatta. Okay, this is the absurd situation. It's like absurd means something which cannot be happen. A silly situation. Okay, which creates the problem of identity. Now, in the play, you will find out that Devdatta has a very strong personality. He looks dashing. He has very strong bones. He look appealing. But Kapila was not so much attractive from his physical point of view. Okay, has his wife. This is an absurd situation which created the problem of identity, and a debate takes place between Devdatta and Kapila as to who would keep Padmini as his wife. So here they both were fighting. They were like, I have the Devdatta's head. Devdatta is saying, I have the Devdatta's head, so I will marry to Padmini. And Kapila is saying, no, I have the Kapila's body. I have the Kapila's body. That's why hands are more important than head. And Devdatta is saying, no, head is more important than body. So that's why they both were fighting with each other to marry Padmini. At last, what happened? It decided that the head governs the body. In the subplot, Hayavadana, the horseman is completely transformed into the horse. His search ends comically. So now the basic question is, why does Padmini wrong rejoin the heads? In Freud opinion, most of the human actions are motivated by the unconscious mind. So when we talk about why Padmini exactly did that, so here Sigmund Freud said, he said that human beings, human people, and whatever the actions they used to do, that comes from their unconscious mind. They don't even think properly before committing any action. Okay, explaining Freud's theory. Wilford Guerin says Freud provided convincing evidence, though his many carefully recorded case studies, that most our actions are motivated by psychological forces which we have very limited control. The mistakes in the transposition of the hits of Devdatta and Kapila can be explained in terms of Freudian slip activated by ID. In other words, the subconscious desire for Kapila's body makes Padmini put Albert unconsciously the head of Devdatta on Kapila's body. Furthermore, the mistake also absolves her for the responsibility of transgressing the confidite morality of her society in support of the argument mentioned. So I'll tell you the story what happened. Padmini decided to be with Devdatta, no, be with Kapila, having Devdatta's body, and now she is very happy that Kapila, because by face Kapila is very appealing, okay, but Devdatta is appealing only by his body. So now Kapila has his appealing face and Devdatta's body. So she decided to get married to Kapila. Now here she got married to Kapila, and yeah, now here she now here she got married to Kapila, but Kapila obviously now whatever the things we get in our life without putting efforts, we don't use it very properly. So here that Kapila has the Devdatta's body, a beautiful one, an attractive one, but he could not able to manage that. So that's why he again reshaping again that Kapila's body in that thin structure, and Padmini didn't like that because Padmini want Kapila should look strong, a man of gender has abs or something. And here Devdatta, who was having Kapila's body, which was very thin and not attractive and not appealing, he made Kapila's body, he transformed Kapila's body in the same way that he had Devdatta's body. So here Devdatta put so many efforts and he created his Kapila's body in the same way he had before. So here Kapila is losing Devdatta's body. So that's the thing happened in the play. I want you all to read this because my time is up. Read it, all the best, and do well.